praying for better days. We're through the storm and the rain. I'm praying that it's gon' come. I'm praying he keep me safe. Got money, they start to hate. I'm praying that they don't come. And I know better days coming. And I know better days coming. I ran up all this check, gotta make this shit look easy. Why these niggas hating? Why these niggas tryna be me? They call me prime time. They see me live on.
Welcome to the first ever episode of the Real Reveal podcast. I'll be your host, Jaelyn Faulk, and I have a super special guest with me today, my brother, Zack. We knew each other since about 2005, where we met, I believe, at Pembroke Pines Optimist, where we played Little League football at the best Little League park in the nation. I believe at our time that we won 3 Super Bowls. We didn't lose many games. I think we lost maybe 2 games our whole career. And then from there, we played high school football together at Matter Academy and at Hollandale High School. And from there, we kept in contact. We kind of built a brotherhood through football. So it's an honor to have you on the show. I feel like there's no better person to start my first episode with. And he is the current running back for the Buffalo Bills. I think everybody knows me. I'm a Steelers fan, but I guess my second favorite team right now, because one of my best friends play on the team, is the Buffalo Bills. And diving right into it, playing Little League football, I think we played since 2005. I think just playing for the love of the game then, like how did it feel just being there playing, not really knowing what you're doing, but just trying to like build some type of knowledge about the game?
I mean, for one, I think, playing Little League football and being from South Florida, I think for me personally, it was more just going out there and just playing. I didn't really understand what I was doing. It was more just going out, having something to do after school. I watched my oldest brother play, and I kind of just stumbled upon playing football. I remember just going out there one day while he was practicing and just kind of seeing other kids run around. And then I kind of just wanted to join. So, for me, it was definitely a learning curve, just understanding the game, and then just being out there every day with the other kids.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly how we met or exactly like what made us connect, but I think one thing, we did play the same position. So I think we played linebacker together. If anybody knows me, like I said, I'm 5'7", and I've probably been even smaller back then. And I played linebacker, believe it or not, in Little League football, and we always played side by side, and we always had the best defense, so it was always a pleasure playing next to you. And moving on to high school, I know in high school, something that caught me by surprise that you didn't play in Little League was you played running back in high school, and in Little League you never played running back from what I can remember. I don't know if I'm thinking wrong.
Nah.
But I remember Zack transferred to Matter Academy with me, which we were there my 9th grade year. And we played football. We both played defense. We had a successful season. And I ended up leaving that year and going to Hollandale High School. And I think that next year, Zack sent me his highlights, and he was playing running back. And I never seen him play running back, but he sent me his highlights. It looked like he was playing running back his whole life. So what was the adjustment, or what even made you play running back? What made you adjust to running back? Because I think me and you both played defense our whole career in Little League. So what made you make the move to offense, and why do you think you were so successful at it?
For one, I was too short to play linebacker. I felt like at the collegiate level. So just having to switch to running back kind of just felt like something I had to do. And then I always remember people just telling me that I could play running back. It was totally different for me because I had never played that side of the ball, definitely at that type of skill position. So it was a learning curve. My 9th grade year, I was playing linebacker and running back, just kind of learning from the older dudes and things like that, kind of seeing how they did things, and then just trying to add that to my craft. I would go home, practice, just doing some footwork drills, learning the footwork for a certain run or something like that I knew I was going to probably have a chance to run in practice. So that way, when I did do it, the coaches, believed that I could possibly do this. And then, going into 10th grade year, that's when I really started to know I could play running back. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And I wanted to do it at a higher level. But then we had, older guy in front of me, so senior Senior Rice kind of overruled me on that one. So, but it was a good learning curve for me because I got a chance to sit back and learn from a dude who had been playing running back for a long time. So watching him, how he ran, how he did things, how he carried himself, was a big help to me. Definitely down the line, more than I probably would have known at that moment in my life.
And if anybody never seen Zack high school highlights at running back, watch his 10th grade year, 11th grade year, and 12th grade year. And just keep in mind, those are his first 3 years playing running back. And I've been his friend, like I said, since 2005. And I never seen him play running back, but when I seen his film in 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, I knew he was special. I tried to play offense my 9th grade year, but my hands wasn't too good, so I had to stay on defense and just do what I did best, which was cover people and guard people. And I know in high school we went through a lot. We went through a lot of changes. Like you went to Matter, and you end up transferring to Hollandale. I went to Matter and transferred to Hollandale. Is there anything that you had to overcome mentally? That you had to overcome mentally to kind of be the person you are today? And if you did, how did you overcome them? And like, what mentality did you have while you were dealing with that adversity?
I think the biggest thing from coming from Matter to Hollandale, switching schools, obviously just learning new people, learning new, just you're in a new environment, point blank period. Being 16, 17 years old, just kind of learning, being in different places and stuff like that, and just learning new teammates as well. I mean, it was a good thing that I kind of knew a lot of guys on the team already, so it kind of just felt like I just kind of already had gelled in, and I felt like I had been there for a few years already. But mentally, I think, just it was a lot of stuff going on at the time for me personally, dealing with family and stuff like that, just, from parents, dealing with divorces and stuff like that, and just kind of just maneuvering through all that type of stuff, and then just trying to stay focused on football, because that was big for me, just having an outlet, and football was that outlet for me just to go out there and do what I wanted to do, hang out with people that I knew was on the right path, when it's easy to go down the wrong path, being from where we're from. So that was the big thing for me mentally. So I always felt like my mental edge was a big thing for me, just because I always felt like I did things differently from other people. I kind of just knew how to stay in my own lane, and I didn't have to feel like I needed to drift over here to feel like I needed to fit in with people and stuff like that. So my mental edge was big for me, just from that transition right there. And then another big thing was just the competition level was different. I felt playing at Matter, it was a different type of competition level. And then going to Hollandale, I felt like I had to prove myself, because I already felt like I had did something here. But none of these guys, none of these coaches had seen me play. So it was a big thing for me to go out here and prove to myself, prove to the people around me as well that I, definitely belonged here. And I felt like I did that.
That's great. And one thing I just want to say to everybody that's watching is it doesn't matter what you do in life, no matter if you're a professional athlete, a high school athlete, anything, a college athlete. People go through things through life every day. People go through hardships, and it's not about how you go through stuff, it's about how you overcome it. So I know a big thing for me, when I was young, my father passed away when I was 2 months old. So I know one thing for me, an escape for me, kind of how Zack said, was football and my way. So football is my way just to kind of get on the field, do something that I love doing, do something like when I step on the field, everything that's happening off the field, it kind of just fade away, and I don't remember something. Like if I'm in trouble, I was super active in elementary school, so I may get in trouble. I may have like a whooping waiting for me at home, but then from 6 to 8 o'clock, I knew I had football practice, so I enjoy as much of that time as I can, and just kind of escape and get into my sanctuary, which that was for me. But I know football definitely helped me overcome a lot of things in life. Just growing up, going through different pains, and I know losing my father, that was kind of a pain that kind of stuck with me. It still stick with me today. But football was a way that I kind of tried to make my dad proud, which was trying to go out there. I wore his number. So every time I stepped on the field, I felt like I was playing for two people, which is myself and my father, who was watching over me in heaven. So I just want everybody to know, no matter what you're going through in life, it's always a way to get through it. Don't think nothing is over. No matter how hard it may seem, it's always better days ahead. It doesn't rain always. And that's about it. Moving on to college. I know we played our senior year together. We didn't end up winning the Super Bowl, but we did get a good win against American Heritage. Mm-hmm. And I know that still stick with me today. But I know in moving from high school to college, what was your thought process? Even in high school, kind of trying to pick college, because I know you had multiple offers. So what was your mindset when you was trying to pick a college, find a new home, and just trying to find a way to build yourself as a better athlete? Like, what kind of went in your thought process with that?
For me, the recruiting process was kind of just all over the place a little bit, but I was able to narrow it down to just 3 schools that I knew I could come in and hopefully make an impact right away. Because that was the biggest thing for me, was playing as a freshman. I didn't want to come in, sit a year, because I had never set out a year of football. So I didn't want to go somewhere where that would probably be a reality for me. So my 3 schools that I kind of just narrowed down to was Miami, Tennessee, and Utah. And Tennessee and Utah kind of stuck out the most for me, just because obviously being from Miami and going to the University of Miami, I felt like that was just too easy of a route for me, just being close to friends and family. So if I went through something, I could just easily fall back on that. I knew I wanted to go somewhere where I can just go and mature as a person, as a young man by myself, and kind of just learn things in life that I wouldn't have a chance to learn being in Florida by myself and things like that. But I ultimately ended up choosing Utah. I was able to go out there with 2 guys that we played high school football with, in Tyler and Damari. So that was a big thing, just being somewhere again that had 2 people that I already knew. So it was a familiar sight for me. And my biggest thing when I went to Utah was I wanted to be one of the best players to ever walk through that school. And now I didn't want nothing less, and I didn't want nothing more. I just wanted that right there. And I knew everything else would fall in place with it. And I remember just going there, and I remember when I decided to get up there, and I got up there and everything like that, I was Googling, who had the rushing titles, who had the rushing touchdowns and all that type of stuff, because I knew those were things I needed to break, and I wanted to break, and I kind of wanted to do them in a 3-year period, so that I can get out of school fast, and go help my parents and things like that. But that was my mindset just early on. I didn't need no one to tell me that I need to work hard or stuff like that. That was just already engraved in me, because I knew I didn't want to waste the opportunity.
One thing I can say about Zack, since we were young, he always been a gym rat. He always been the swollest thing ever. He always been super cock diva. So working out never been the thing that he lacked. But I know I didn't go to a school as big as Utah. I went to Duquesne University, which was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Some people may know, some people may not. But my college experience was probably a lot different from Zack. He probably played in front of a lot of thousands of people. And my college stadium only held maybe 1,000 or 2. And I don't think it ever filled up. But I went through my stuff that I went through in college. I feel like that'll be a conversation for another day in other episodes. But in college, I went through my stuff. But college helped me grow as a person. It made me know that football wasn't my only route. I was able to get 2 degrees while I was at Duquesne, and root for my boys that was going to pursue to play in the NFL, like Tyler, Josh Hammond, Zack. Whenever I seen those guys play on TV, I was always rooting for them, and I knew that they had their NFL dreams come true. And I think around my sophomore, junior year, my little NFL dreams kind of came crashing down, but I knew that wasn't the end. I had a good support system around me, my parents, my friends, that was there to lift me up and kind of made me see that football wasn't everything, and football kind of brought me to a place that it brought me to school, and it made me see the bigger picture, which was I was a 5'7" defensive back playing D1 ball at a school that cost $50,000 a year, and I was on a full scholarship for free. So once I looked at stuff in that aspect where many people had to pay to go to school, like my mom, she had to pay to go to school. I'm not sure if she's done or if she is still paying her student loans, but that's something that she was doing, and she made sure that she told me that was such a blessing that I was going to college for free and didn't have to pay a dime out of my pocket. So that's something that I went through in college that I was able to overcome. And I was able to graduate with my undergraduate degree in sports marketing. And this past May, I graduated with my MBA, my master's in business administration. So that was my thing, what I went through in college. And my friend Zack, I think, let's talk about what you did in college. Because he kind of undersold himself, but I think He won Pac-12 Player of the Year his senior year, all-time leading rusher at Utah. So just talk to us about what you did in college or what you accomplished in college.
Let me see if I can remember all of them.
It's a very long list.
But yeah, I was, fortunate to win Pac-12 Player of the Year my senior year, and the ultimate goal was to win championships, but we fell short back-to-back years in that goal right there. But in personal goals, Pac-12 Player of the Year. All-time leading rusher at Utah, all-time leading touchdowns, the most 100-yard games, and a few more things. I think it's about 9 of them. But that was, like I said, that was my biggest thing when I went to school. Is I wanted to be one of the best players to walk through Utah, and I feel like now, just being now almost 2 years removed from that school, I feel like I've been able to do that. And I feel like the state and the city there, people in Salt Lake definitely, appreciate what I was able to do in my time there. And, it was definitely a blessing because it didn't have to play out like that. Because I could have went somewhere else and things could have went a lot of different ways, which, I think a lot of people don't understand. Because it's hard to find a school and you find yourself being there for 4 years and having success. A lot of times, a lot of guys go to one school for a couple of years, transfer out, and that kind of delays the process for them and stuff like that. So I was super fortunate to go to a school, have success, as a team and personally, and then have people around me, from my coaches and everything like that. Just everything just kind of just fell in place, and it was perfect timing.
I guess coming from where we come from, which is South Florida, a lot of people don't know how hard it is to make it out of South Florida. A lot of people from out of town, they see the beach, they see the palm trees, but South Florida is a hard place to make it out of. So it wasn't until we got older that I realized how blessed we were to make it out, go to college for free, and pursue what we wanted to do. So if you can go back and kind of give these young kids advice that's in high school or playing Little League football right now, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give them to kind of help them maybe get to the next level, which might be high school, receiving that first offer, going to college, and potentially going to the NFL?
I think personally the biggest thing is just being around people who make you better. If you're hanging around guys that aren't doing the right things, no matter if they're playing sports with you or you just know them from your neighborhood and things like that, if they're not doing the right things and they don't got the right mentality towards life, those probably not the people you want to be around, because that's people who's probably, blocking your blessings and everything like that. Even though you may be super cool with them, you may have known them for a while, and like that's a hard process to let people go, because it's just a hard process, point blank, period. But I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me is the people around you, because the people around you really do alter your life. If you know it or not, because I think you just kind of pick up habits. They may be being lazy, then you might get lazy, or they may stop you from going to a workout or working on your craft when you're supposed to be working on your craft. And I think that's the biggest thing, is find a way to always work on your craft, because the game is 90% mental. The other 10% is physical. So if you can just find a way to somehow, get better day by day, 1% in that bank, the sky's the limit.
Definitely. And I know that through my football career, I dealt with some injuries. I had 3 shoulder surgeries. Maybe when I'm like 50, 60 years old, I might need a shoulder replacement. Who knows? But I know throughout your career, you had some injuries that you had to overcome. There's probably some athletes and people that's going through stuff that they got to overcome. So what advice or what can you tell people about overcoming injuries, the mental toll that it did take on you, and ultimately how you overcame them and kind of pushed forward and made it to the NFL, and even overcoming the injury you just suffered last year and coming back super healthy? And so how did you overcome those injuries?
For me, the first major injury I ever had was in college. And thankfully, it didn't derail anything, as in missing time on the field for season and stuff like that. But I broke my forearm in the spring of my sophomore year. So that was a weird time for me because I had never really done anything on that to that extent. So that was weird for me because it was something that I never had been through. And like I said, just like being away from school, being away from home, being away from my family and things like that, just having people I can fall back on, it wasn't there for me. So I had to really just find a way every day to deal with a broken arm, rehab a broken arm, kind of just go through all those things that people don't really teach you and tell you about how you have to attack rehab. Like if anyone gets hurt and things like that, like your mental helps your body heal just as fast as whatever type of rehab that you can be doing at that time. So that's something that I learned once I broke my arm. So that was like a big thing for me because I looked at it as a blessing and a curse at the time, because the curse was obviously just not being able to play football for the rest of spring football. But the blessing was just understanding how to attack being injured or being hurt and how to go back out there and just continue to do what I want to do. And then my second big injury that I had was I tore my meniscus the following year. After playing on it, I had played on it, so I tore my meniscus in January of 2018, and I didn't know it was torn up until, I want to say, late October of that same year. So I had played pretty much almost eight or nine games in the season, went through a whole fall training camp, spring football, everything like that with a torn meniscus, and I didn't even know for pretty much 8-9 months. And once it officially did tear on me and lock up and things like that, where I kind of had to get the surgery, that was a rough time. Just because, like I said, I wanted to leave college in 3 years, and at the pace I was on at that point, through the first 7 games, I already had 1,000 yards, and was being looked at as a top 3 back coming out of the 2018 class. So having that year ripped away from me, not being able to finish that year, and then seeing our team lose in the Pac-12 championship game, that was tough just because I already knew how hard I had worked. I knew how hard our team had worked to be in that position, and then just to kind of see things just be getting, pulled away from you kind of without your control was tough. But, and then, again, it was just another blessing and a curse because, for one, after I did that, I had to decide on if I wanted to come back to school or leave. And I ended up coming back, but within all that stuff, I was able to meet my girlfriend. We've been dating now for 3 years. I was able to go back to school, finish, and get my degree in communications. And I was able to, just continuously build those relationships with people that I now have in my life for a very, very long time. That I probably wouldn't have looked at it differently if I would have left my junior year. And then obviously I was able to break all those records and things like that. Definitely. But, and then just being able to learn how to control your controllables. I think that was another thing for me, dealing with the knee injury that I had to go through. Just understanding that some things in life I can control and some things I won't be able to. But it's all about how I respond to those things. And that was a big thing for me because it was just different. I went through a rough part, just, with kind of just dealing with being down, being depressed about things and everything like that. So that was big for me because I learned how to, get through those things, having someone on my side as well, just helping me get through those things as well. So, and I was able to respond the right way, just going through those things and learning, and just it was all good.
Yeah, and this is the side that people don't see about athletes behind closed doors. A lot of people just see the games that come on Saturday, that you go out there and play, but football players are people too. We go through injuries. We got to live life like everybody else and still play football at the same time. And I know how you was talking about when you get hurt, you get something snatched away from you. But when that thing gets snatched away from you, you realize how much you miss it. And I know personally speaking, when I hurt my shoulder and I couldn't play for about 6-7 months, I knew how it felt not to play. So I knew every time when I was healthy, when I was able to make a full recovery, I know I kept in the back of my mind, like when I get back on that field, I'm going to give 110% because I know how it feels when I was on the sideline and I wanted to play, but I couldn't play. So that was something I always kept in the back of my mind. And but I'm glad you were able to overcome the injuries. I was able to overcome mine, but I guess fortunately, unfortunately, I'm not a football player anymore. I'm still an athlete. I still work out and stuff, but my football days are behind me. But I guess this is something I'm gonna ask everybody that ever that always come on my show. What's your why? What do you or why do you do what you do? And kind of like, what's your motivation to keep you going?
I do it. That's. I mean, my why is for my mom. I think that's just the easiest thing someone could ever ask me. Everything I do is for my mom. I mean, if my mom didn't need help with things or whatever it may be, I definitely don't think I would be playing football, and definitely don't think I would have gotten to the level I'm at right now. And just continuously striving for my future family, and my extended family, everything like that. That's why I still go as hard as I do. Just trying to leave something for our kids and stuff like that, and just continue to build on that name. Because generational wealth is what the goal is. Just kind of trying to break that cycle, so that way that our families and things like that can have a better hand at things when it's their time.
Definitely. I guess going from college, you went from college to go to the pros. What was the process? Because I wasn't able to go through it. But what was the process of you kind of making that transition from college to preparing for the pros to ultimately getting drafted to the Buffalo Bills?
The process was really cool and really tough, just because you know what you're working for. And I mean, everything you do, every time you wake up, you're working for a spot on someone's team. Because at that point, it does matter what you did in college, but now it's about what can you bring to a pro league, and things like that. So, I mean, I was able to train out in Cali for about 4 or 5 months, and just kind of, again, just being able to experience a different part of life that I probably never know if I ever get a chance to do it again. So just, took the opportunity, went out there, trained with some really good trainers, had some really good times out there. But, I mean, the process for training and things like that, I mean, I worked out every single day. We ran every single day, just trying to get better. So that way when the combine came around, we can put our best foot forward. And I mean, the combine was a really cool experience in itself, just because, I mean, not a lot of people in their lives can say they went to the NFL combine.
Definitely.
For one. And that was something I was able to experience. I mean, if you told me I would be able to go to something like that 6-7 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you, for one. So that was really cool, just being able to be around certain people, from guys that played in the league, guys who do play in the league right now, and then just being around all the other young guys and stuff like that who's going into that draft and everything. That was really cool, just because you grow up trying to, wanting to be in that moment, and I was pretty much living that moment without even knowing I'm in that moment. So, when I get a chance to look back at it now, I'm super thankful for it, just because, like I said, like a lot of people won't be able to ever do something like that. And I was able to do something, to be put in that position. But, yeah, I mean, being drafted to the Bills was really, 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 just, it really ain't no words for that, because, like I said, as a kid, you grow up, you play all these video games, and you put yourself in those moments and stuff
Definitely.
like that. And then you have the opportunity to live that with your family and your friends and everything like that. But I didn't get a chance to do it how I wanted to do it because of COVID. So I had to have only my immediate family there. But it was still really cool, just getting on that phone, hearing my name called on TV, and then just everyone being super happy.
Definitely.
For me. Knowing that I'm being able to change things and stuff like that. And then just talking to the commissioner on the phone for the first time. And then, just being kind of just welcome to the league, and things like that. That was really dope, just because, like I said, like you never know if you'll ever have an opportunity to do things like that.
Yeah.
And like where we come from, we don't know too many people who can say, yeah, I talked to the Roger Goodell, or I was drafted in, whatever round and things like that. Because a lot of times people like that don't really come back, to the cities and things like that, and try to give that wisdom out to the young guys and stuff like that. But it was super cool. Now going on to year 2, just trying to help this team win. That's the biggest thing. It's all about the team now. It's not about the individual. I think once people learn that, when guys learn that if you are about your team, if you're a team player, all good things are gonna come, because if you being a team guy, that means you're gonna get yours as well. So I think that's a big thing that I've learned so far, just being in the league, just being a team guy, day in and day out, fighting for each other. Because at the end of the day, you hold each other paychecks in each other's hands, especially me playing running back. Everything I do with the ball in my hands, I'm holding another man's paycheck. I'm holding another man's, kid's meal or whatever it may be. So it's a big part of accountability every day that I walk in that building. Being only 23 years old, playing with guys that's 32, 33. Got mortgages.
44, Tom Brady, 44.
These dudes got mortgages, like kids. They got to pick up their kids before, after, whatever it may be. And me just being 23 years old, being a young guy, just learning and just seeing how these guys maneuver day by day, just kind of just picking their brains, if it may be from financial things to taking care of your body, and just how they prepare for the game. You got so many guys, it's hard to stay in the league, because they always say the NFL stands for not for long, and it's true, because the average life expectancy in the NFL is only about 2-3 years, and at that time you're only about 24, 25, and now you got to find out another job to do. And a lot of guys don't finish school, then they got to go back to school or whatever it may be, and then it can be a very, very tough climb from there. But just picking guys' brains, because we got a lot of guys on our team that's in year 10, year 8, year 9, just kind of learning how did they do it, what did they do, what's their routines may be, because I steal all their routines day in and day out, just trying to learn so I can be one of those guys that's in the league for 8-9 years, and just making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Definitely. And I know you was drafted in Buffalo. Buffalo is known for Bills Mafia, which is the second best fan base in the NFL, I heard. I think everybody know who the first. Those guys in the 412, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, still a nation. But how did the Bills Mafia kind of embrace you when you got drafted, even till now? How did the fan base make you feel? Because I know a lot of people talk about Bills Mafia, but how does it feel to actually be a part of it and have them go to bat for you?
Nah, it's dope to be a part of a fan base like that, because it's different up there. I'll tell you that, just because they don't have any other professional teams there, so they're all in on the Bills, and it's crazy because they teach their kids, kind of that way, that Bills Mafia way. No matter how old they are, no matter what it may be, they teach them from a very young age that this is the team that we root for day in and day out, and then you kind of just see those kids grow over time. I mean, when they were doing their thing in the 90s, and then that's pretty much the fans that we have now, those people who were young then and stuff like that. So it's a super tradition. They embrace me very, very well. They support anything that I do. Anytime I'm out in the community, just doing things out there and stuff like that. And I think that's a big reason why I want to do things in the community, because I know how hard it is for some of those people. You kind of see, being my time in Buffalo, I kind of got a chance to just learn about how hard it is for a lot of those people there, and the things that they go through, and the help that they may not be receiving and stuff like that. But they do a really good job of just embracing us all. It's so many stories they have from just being super great fans. I remember last year, we were playing, it was in the playoffs. I believe Josh grandmother passed, and they donated like $1 million some to her hospital. And then last year again, they did the same thing for Lamar Jackson when he got hurt. And they donated a couple more $1 million to one of his charities, and I mean that's a guy that we go against. You know what I mean? That we pretty much gonna have to face year in and year out to get what we want to get.
Definitely.
And to see fans do stuff like that for a player who's not even on their own team, I think that just speaks value to them, point blank. And I think I don't think there's any other fan bases that's doing that. I don't care where it's at. That's even in Pittsburgh. I don't think nobody doing that, but. I mean, just that alone, I think those two examples right there just kind of just sticks out to me. Definitely. About how much passion they have for that team.
I can't really argue with that because I know the hatred between the Ravens and the Steelers. So I can't promise you that Steelers fans will donate to Lamar Jackson just because the hatred is that strong between Baltimore and Pittsburgh. It's almost like being from South Florida. It's almost like UM versus Florida State. It's like you pick one side, you stay on your side, and one side hates the other side. But I always root for Lamar Jackson because we played against each other in high school twice. And anytime somebody from South Florida makes it to the NFL, I always make it my duty to support them, play with them on Madden, just do anything I can, repost their stuff. Just because I know where we're from, a lot of people don't make it out. So the people that do make it out, I make sure I take the time out of my day to congratulate them. No matter what other people think, I support people that I don't know, that I do know. As long as you're doing good, from what I see, I support you. But I know everything isn't on the field. Some things are off the field. So what are some things that you're doing right now off the field that doesn't have to do with football? Like when you step away from the football field and you leave the Bills facility, what are you doing to take up your time besides losing to me in 2K and Madden?
I don't lose to you, for one. That's that dude over there. But right now, what I got going on, I've started my own podcast. Like I said, I graduated in communication, so sport broadcasting is something I knew I always wanted to do. I mean, I just grew up watching First Take and then arguing with y'all day in and day out about the same stuff. I think it was just natural for me to be like, all right, I need to start my own podcast. And I mean, thankfully I have a really good team around me of guys that know what they're doing. We have the same vision, and we all work together and we mesh together really good. So starting it was really good. I mean, we just shot the first episode with Josh Allen the other day, and that did really, really good. Just being in that moment again, like I said, it's just different because I wouldn't have really thought I would be doing a podcast. At this age, I thought it was something I wanted to do maybe after football and stuff like that, but I felt like this is the perfect time because of the people I'm around. I mean, every day I wake up, I get to go into a facility with some of the best athletes in the world, and then I give them a chance to, tell their story or come on the show and talk about whatever they want to talk about, because I feel like for me it's different when you're talking to media as an athlete, because when you talk to media as an athlete, you don't tell them everything you want to tell them.
Be politically
correct. You put on a certain voice, you got a certain look on your face and everything like that, so they don't really get the real story of you. I think the difference between that and then what I'm doing on mine, I think just being an athlete, being a current athlete, and then them being an athlete as well, it's kind of like that vibe that you just get a kickback vibe, and then everything just seems like it's just really cool. So the guys just come on, they get to talk about whatever they want to talk about, and it's just another platform that I'm getting a chance to use, getting my brand out there. Definitely. Starting the clothing brand, everything like that. That's in the works as well. So just trying to build this brand up as much as I can, while I'm in the league, because that's the best time to do things is when you have that platform. Because when you're out of the league, from what I've learned from other guys, when you're out the league, you're out the league. Yeah. I was an ex-player for, no, it's none of that. So you got to really make everything work, while you're playing, but also understand what your number one job is, and that's, being on that field and doing your job day in and day out.
Definitely. That's a great answer. And on our social media page, at Real Reveal Podcast on Instagram, we asked some of the viewers and some of our followers if they had any questions or statements for Zack, to ask him any questions. And I picked 3 of them. We had a couple, but I ended up picking 3 of them. And Nate asked, he said, who made you love football? And what are your current goals for this current season?
I wouldn't say anyone made me love football. I think I'm a big basketball guy. So Kobe Bryant was my favorite athlete growing up. And I mean, everyone kind of just knows his mentality towards how he took his profession and everything like that. So I kind of just tried to mesh that into mine, where I felt like it fit. So I think just during that time, just from doing the work day in and day out, from being young, staying, having to catch the bus back after doing workouts, 3 workouts in the day, and all that type of stuff. I think that over time just made me love the sport, and then just what the sport can give you if you put what you need to put into it, if you don't cheat it and things like that. So I think that what made me love the sport.
Definitely. And we had another person ask, he said, how does it feel to be living your childhood dream of playing in the NFL?
That's a good question. I mean, it's something that you can't really describe while you're in the moment. To me, I think that's something that you kind of just cherish once you're done. I think, like even at my time in Utah, it was a really, really good time, but I couldn't really tell because we had 6 a.m. lifts and you got this practice and all that type of stuff. Yeah. You can't really tell when you're in that moment and stuff like that. Everything just kind of seems like a blur, and it kind of feels like you're going through kind of like that motion. But I mean, it's a blessing at the end of the day. And I think now, knowing that that this is pretty much the final stage of football for me, I kind of just have to figure out a way. Even on the days that I may not want to be in there or may not want to be doing that or something like that, just kind of just figure out a way to really cherish it, because the game it can give you a lot and it can give you nothing, and it can be taken away from you in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's a lot of guys that have the potential to play in the league that don't make it for whatever reasons on the field or off the field, from injuries, because you're always one injury away from never playing the game again, because I think that people don't understand the game is a privilege. It's not a right just because you have the athletic ability or, the mental capacity to withstand all that type of stuff and stuff like that. It's definitely a privilege. So you got to cherish every moment you're on the field. I think one of the coolest things that I've learned from being in the league is everyone always tells you never walk off the field. And we have guys that literally don't walk off the field because their one reason is they feel like if you walk off the field, you're not respecting being on that field, because a lot of people who can't play, can't walk, can do a lot of things, and you're given the ability to go out there every day and just run around, catch a ball as a job. So you definitely need to be thankful for it and everything that it brings you.
Definitely. And my last one was from Evan. I'm not sure if you're from Buffalo or from Utah, but he said, hey, Zach, it's Evan. I met you a while back at a signing. When we getting tennis going? I didn't know you played tennis, my boy.
I do play tennis, and I'm pretty good. I need to be in the U.S. Open. I ain't gonna lie about that one. But we do need to play, Evan. I do need to play you so I can show you skills. That way you can post it and show the people that I ain't lying.
Well, make sure when y'all play Evan, y'all record that, tag me on Instagram so I can see it, because I didn't know he played tennis. That's something new to me. But
Serena. Not Venus.
But
Serena.
I think the way I'm gonna end all my shows is with a series of questions. So just kind of answer them how you want. PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What's your favorite video game?
2K.
Soul food or Spanish food?
Soul food.
I agree, my boy.
Spanish food got some good stuff too, though. But
yeah, but it's like
with
Spanish
the tacos
food,
and the burritos.
Soul food. At least when my grandma cooking. I can't speak for everybody else. But who your top 3 artists is out right now?
Right now, everybody be hating on the man, but Kanye, that Donna album was what?
I like CLB over that, but it's a conversation for another day.
Kanye, Drake, and Lil Baby. he don't miss. Those 3 right there don't really miss. Kanye be messing around sometimes, but those are the 3 top ones right now. Top 5, I would have threw Rod Wave in there. But
I was about to say my top 3 definitely got J. Cole at number 1. Feel like it's only right I put Drake. And I feel like 3 right now, it's a tie definitely between Rod Wave and Lil Baby. So
yeah, pick one, buddy.
We'll just put them they 3. We squeezing them all in 3. But
Rod Wave don't need no more squeezing.
Hey, but just let the people know how they can follow you on Instagram, how they can follow your podcast page, and we'll be sure to post it at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, man, y'all definitely make sure y'all follow me. My personal IG is at Famous Moss, and then my podcast is at Moss Mode Show 1 on Instagram and Twitter. And we are on Spotify and Apple Music now with the same username. So make sure you guys tune in, like, subscribe, do the whole 9 yards.
Well, it's been a pleasure. This has been my first time ever doing something like this, and like I said earlier, there's no other person I'd rather do it than with my brother. So I'm looking at the clock. We 45 minutes in. I thought this was gonna be 25 minutes, but we 45 minutes.
You said 15, 20. I said, yeah, ain't no chance. Coach.
But hey man, it was a pleasure. So I feel like it's only gonna keep growing after this. So thank you guys for watching this far. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Real Reveal Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is in the link in our bio on our page. Subscribe to Zack's page. I just support people that's doing the right thing. And Zack's somebody that do everything right. He never in trouble. Whenever he in the field, he do everything that he got to do. So it's only right that you support somebody like that. So checking out my brother, it's been a pleasure.
All right.
It's definitely won't be his last time on the show, so I had to save a little things for next time. But it's definitely won't be his last time on the show. But thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure doing this first show. I'm looking forward to doing many more. If you guys have any guests you feel like I should do, you guys can DM me on Instagram at Real Reveal Podcast. You guys can get at me on my personal page at Faulk_era, which is at FAULK_ERA. It's been a pleasure, man. We checking out of South Florida. Make sure you tune into the Bills versus Dolphins game and support the mighty Steelers that just beat them Bills. But, we're not going to talk about that today. Everybody have a good one.
I'm praying for better days, but through the storm and the rain, I'm praying that it's gon' come.